I'm so excited to see you tonight.
First date, baby. First date, I can't wait. First date.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of First Date. My guest today is an internationally touring comedian. He is the host of Normal World on Blaze TV. Give it up for Dave Landau.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm living.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How long are you in town for?
3 days.
It seems like that's the going number
Yes.
of people that come to town.
Yeah, I'm in Dallas, so I drive down a lot to do like mothership and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm here often.
Oh, you live in Dallas?
Now I do, yeah.
Is it snowing there right now?
It was last night, so I came in early.
Wow.
But I'm from Detroit, so it didn't bother me all that much. So it was fine. Some people were spun out and probably dead, but I was fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
As long as you're okay.
That's really all I care about.
Where are you performing at this weekend?
Cap City Comedy Club and the Red Room, and then I'm just doing the late shows at Mothership.
When you said Red, I thought you were going to say Red Rose. I was like, whoa, they're doing comedy at the strip club now.
Yeah, I've done it. It's something.
I bet it is.
I did it for, it was a strip club. It was for the dancers and their favorite customers.
Okay.
So it was the dancers and a lot of guys that were in like sip and puff blow chairs. It was really one of the most...
what?
Like when you're paraplegic and you can only blow like Stephen Hawking to get your chair to go.
Stop.
Yeah, it was most of the customers were horribly disfigured. I shouldn't say disfigured.
I shouldn't even
handicapped,
laugh at that.
But yeah, they were mostly handicapped people, brutally handicapped, and then their favorite stripper who they give all their money to. And I was doing comedy. And then there was one 7-year-old or like 6-year-old playing a Game Boy. And I'm like, can he hear this? And she's like, yeah, look where he is right now. I'm like, you're a great mom.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a private show. So, I mean, they weren't naked.
Yeah.
They weren't really dressed, but they weren't naked.
Right.
So
they were wearing the bare minimum.
They were wearing, yeah, what would please the...
customers.
Yes, what would please the man in the blow chair, but not be too offensive for the kid playing a video game as if he were at the beach.
The show's starting out with a bang.
Yeah, something.
And now we'll get into some appetizer questions.
So are you're married?
I am, yes.
How long have you been married?
18 years.
Long time.
Long time.
Do you have any
kids? I
kids?
say that negatively. But one. I don't know. I thought about it. One. I have one son.
It's okay to think about it, you know?
Yeah, you're like, I hope. Yeah, just one. I mean, we've been together for so long. Like, we've been together for 21 years.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. So,
How did you meet her?
Second City in Detroit. They used to have a chapter of it, and that's where we met, was doing theater and comedy, theater and improv together.
Oh, is she an actress?
She was.
Okay.
Yeah, she didn't want to keep going into it. Like, so she went out and she was in college and then ended up going into the real world, and I stayed in comedy.
Yeah. Where so you guys moved to Dallas together?
Yeah, no, it's weird. We're fine. I shoot a show at the Blaze, so I go to Dallas a couple days a week, then I go home a couple days a week, and then I tour a couple days a week.
Okay.
So home is actually Detroit, but then I have a place in Dallas too.
Does she live in Detroit?
She lives in Detroit.
Okay.
It's a little bizarre, but we're fine.
But I feel like that's a comic's life.
It is.
So, I mean, you're hosting a show
Yep.
and you're touring with comedy.
Yeah.
And you have a relationship. You divide the three.
Yes. It's a lot.
It's not a surprise to me, but
It's not a surprise to her either. I want them to move to Dallas because I like it.
yeah.
I like Texas.
Why be in Detroit?
She has a very good job with a Fortune 500 company that helps with her insurance, so it's beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
A
it's-
job makes sense.
Yeah, she doesn't want to leave it, and I wish she would, but it's a whole thing.
Maybe someday?
Yes, maybe someday.
All right. Are you an only child?
No, I have a twin brother.
Do you?
Yeah.
Are you identical?
No, fraternal. He's taller. He has red hair. He got all the athletic skills. I know, red hair. I won in that. all the athletic skills, and yeah, and then I got the whatever this is, the DeVito sector.
What does he do?
He owns a roofing company with one of his friends.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think he still does that. We talk a lot. I just don't listen.
Figures.
Yeah,
My boyfriend is a twin.
really.
Yeah.
Fraternal.
Fraternal.
Okay, that's good. It's
And they're
weird to
nothing
me.
alike.
Yeah, it's either that, like you either get somebody who's totally different, or you get that kind of they're the exact same and look the exact same, and it's like a Doublemint commercial, and it's creepy to me.
Yeah.
But the fraternal twins are, I don't know, that's normal. to
Yeah.
me.
They
'Cause
own a business together, but that's the only thing that they have in common.
a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that's it. And then
Yeah.
the rest of them they're just two completely different people.
Yeah, that's kind of how we are. Like he was all into athletics, sports, and I was into drugs, and failure. And
What was your favorite drug?
my favorite, well, alcohol was why I'm in recovery, but my favorite drugs, probably LSD was my favorite.
Ooh, a psychedelic.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Oh, I did a lot of it. Yeah, it was fun.
I drank a lot though. What was your favorite drink?
Oh, God, anything that would make me forget
Forget what?
just about my life. I had, that's a weird answer. I wasn't really drinking for taste.
you were drinking to feel numb.
Oh, yeah. I started at about 14, and then it was just after
Oh my
that.
gosh.
Yeah, and then I was arrested a lot, and my brother wasn't. He was much faster than me. And I was arrested 13 times.
Like faster on his feet.
Yeah, like if you like cops raided a house party, most people could get away, and I'd like run and I'd hide in a closet, have for years. But I hid in a closet, and I remember one time cops are like, I thought the cops had left, and I was like, are they gone? And this cop's like, no, we're still here. And he opens up the closet, and I'm just under a pile of clothes. And he's like, who's in here? I'm like, E.T., like just completely stupid. And then they threw me down a staircase.
Why?
They didn't like me. I had been arrested a lot. And then a sea of teenagers started chanting Rodney King at the police. So they ended up dropping the charges because so many kids witnessed me being thrown down a staircase by cops.
Oh my
I didn't
gosh.
even swing on them or anything. I did another time, but that time I did not.
Swing.
No, I just was minding my own business in the closet under a pile of laundry.
When did you stop drinking?
July 7th, 2009.
Why that day?
13th arrest.
What did you do to get arrested so many times?
All alcohol and drug related.
But like, you were doing bad things. Are you a criminal?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, according to the legal system. I mean, I have a felony number of DUIs, but the reason they couldn't charge me with it is because I basically was an adult when I got arrested my last time, and my prior DUIs, I was a juvenile, so it didn't count. But
How did you get a car so young?
I got one at 16.
Oh, okay.
And then, well, the day I got my license, I ended up in a high-speed chase and totaled my dad's car.
What?
Yeah.
How did you get involved in a high-speed chase?
Well, it was the day that I got my license, and my birthday's in June, but my parents made me wait till November until I could get my grade point up above like a 2. I didn't, but they were tired of me driving, having to take me to school or me riding with my brother. And so my dad's car was in the garage, and my aunt was blocking the driveway because it was like during a family reunion. So when they all went to a restaurant, I decided to gingerly back my dad's car out over my neighbor's garden and pine tree and then take his car out.
Okay.
So we went down, we got alcohol, we got all this stuff down to the hood where we would go on like 8 Mile in Detroit, this place called Piccadilly. And we started giving people lawn jobs once we were driving around drinking, which is not sexual. It's just when you go on somebody's lawn and you spin and you like break torque and you knock all their grass onto their house. I did it, and I didn't realize there was a guy in a BMW sitting in his car. So we ended up in like a French Connection style chase throughout the suburbs of Detroit until I went down a street and there was a giant tree, and that's what I slammed into. Like I was able to brake, but I popped the curb, the engine dropped, and I got knocked out by the airbag, and everybody ran except me. And here's what I didn't know. Because we were having a family reunion, there was a bunch of beer and alcohol already in the trunk and chips and stuff. So it just looked like a Super Bowl party had broken out behind me. So it was just booze and stuff all over the place. And I was just in a car unconscious when the cops showed up. And when I awoke, my dad was there. My dad was in Vietnam. He had cancer at the time. But I got out and I was like, "I'm okay, Dad." And then he punched me in the face and knocked me out for a second time. And he was not a violent man. He had just had it. And yeah, that was my. And then they gave me 6 months suspended license for that.
That's all?
Yeah, in 1998. They really weren't as hard on it as they are now.
Oh my God.
They were like, "You'll never do it again, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, never. Ever." And I lied.
What about the guy's lawn that you destroyed?
Well, since he chased a bunch of teenagers into a tree, I think he just decided to stay out of it.
To let it go?
Yeah, his car braked, and then you kind of saw, like, from what I understand, this, like, oh shit look on his face because my friends were about to fight him, and then he just spun out and got away as fast as possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
So.
Then I worked for a Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you afraid that your son is going to end up like you?
Absolutely. Every day.
Are you taking any preventative measures?
I am. He's more innocent than I was at his age.
Okay.
So, like, when I was, like, 7, I'd be listening to, like, Eazy-E on my Walkman on the way to school because my friends' older brothers would buy us tapes and stuff. Uh-huh. So my son's not as much like that. Like, he's really good at. He's on a travel football team and baseball team.
Okay.
He does. I mean, and these are all things I didn't force him into. He plays drums. Like, this is all just him going his own way. And I've always supported what he wants to do and kind of just seen what he and I love him and I support. So he's going in a different direction than I ever did. Like, I always made films and stuff when I was a kid, which was cool. Mm-hmm. But his interests are more definitely athletics and he's very competitive.
That's good.
Yeah, I was never competitive.
Well, you couldn't hardly run. I mean, you never got away from the cops.
No, never, ever. I mean, a couple times I did. But it was usually because I ran to the yard next door and there'd be a tree fort. And I just hide in a kid's tree fort until the cops left.
That works.
It was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes if people are getting breathalyzers and you go into the house, you can just like marine crawl under the window and then sneak out the garage.
Yeah.
I had plans of escape after a while.
Yeah, you had to.
I did. I was not a runner.
This was like a recurring theme for you.
Correct.
Well, it sounds so when guys are like usually the bad boy, which you sound like you were a bad boy.
I was, yeah.
They're usually like really fun to date.
Yes.
Did you have a lot of girlfriends growing up?
Yes.
What was like your go-to move to get a girl?
Nothing.
They were just attracted to the bad boy?
I was lucky, yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like it now. I get it. I know what I look like.
I didn't even say anything.
But no, it's my own insecurity. No, I was very lucky where girls would ask like me out or want to date me, and it wouldn't take much.
What would you do? Where would you go? On a high-speed chase?
My basement to get a hand job. I mean, like, yeah, it wasn't like a party and then we would have relations in the upstairs of someone's home. Like, I wasn't very romantic. I remember one time I went to pick up my girlfriend and I just pulled in her driveway and at the time I had a Mustang Cobra.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm like honking. And so I'm just pulling up in this like date mobile and I'm just honking. And she's like, he's honking and not even coming to the door. And she came out. She's like, "Why are you honking?" I'm like, "Because I'm high as fuck. I can't meet your parents right now." And so she's like waving to her parents, like, his leg's broken, just making something up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was not as chivalrous. I was, but I also was not. I was very anxious to meet the parents because I was usually on something.
Okay.
So I never really wanted to go to the door.
Cuffing season lead to a new boo? Want some extra heat in the bedroom to fight off the winter chill? Keep the passion alive using the natural power of hemp with Via. Via has developed a unique blend of pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids, libido-strengthening herbs, and a medium dose of THC, all into one mind-blowing gummy called High Love. Via just dropped their High Love bundle, which includes a pack of gummies and a THCA vape just in time for Valentine's Day. And the best part, Via legally ships to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. Everyone here at YMH loves Via, and I've only got 3 more weeks until my due date when I get to try it too. If you're 21 and up, check out the link to Via in our description and use the code DATE to receive 15% off. And if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice. After you purchase, they ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. This Valentine's Day, elevate your love life with Via. Every new year, we set all sorts of big goals, but only 8% of people will stick with their resolutions all year long. But with Acorns, you can lock in years and years of healthy money habits in about 5 minutes. That's all the time it takes to open your account and start automatically saving and investing your money. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing so your money has a chance to grow for you, your kids, and for your retirement. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can start with $5 or even just your spare change. Acorns is so easy to use. I love it because it's a little carefree and you have help on hand at any time. Head to acorns.com/firstdate or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risks. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/firstdate. The new year is here, and maybe you've been thinking about finally starting the new business you've been putting off. I get it. There's so many questions. Branding, marketing, how do you even get started? But take a deep breath. Shopify's got you. How do I know? Because I had the same questions when I started, and here's what I learned. Shopify makes it simple to create your brand, open for business, and get your first sale. Get your store up and running easily with thousands of customizable templates. No coding or design skills required. All you need to do is drag and drop. Shopify makes it easy to manage your growing business. They help with the details like shipping, taxes, and payments from one single dashboard. Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/date, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/date to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/date. That makes sense. Probably a good decision on your part.
Yeah, even when I met a girl who I loved, who I dated for a year, I met her dad. And it was after slamming almost an entire fifth of Jaeger. And a lot of it had gotten on a white polo shirt I was wearing.
Yikes.
So I'm sitting there very drunk, talking to this guy, and I just have green stuff all over my shirt. And I only stayed, I'm like, I have to go. Your dad's going to see me like this. And she started crying. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go meet your father with Jaeger all over my shirt. So it was me and my friend Sean and my girlfriend just sitting there, and he's asking me like trivia questions just to see if I've paid any attention in school. So he's just like, do you know what the capital of Michigan is? I'm like, yeah, it's Lansing. Yeah, it's cool. It was pretty good.
Yeah. So when did you start or did you ever be like want to take a girl out on a date and try to impress her? Was there ever a shift for you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. A couple times. I mean, I did. A girl asked me out who I liked, and I dated her for a year, and I took her on dates, dinners, everything. And the problem was I was an alcoholic, so by the end of it, I just couldn't put her above the drinking, not on purpose.
Yeah.
But it just is how it was. And I mean, I had gone to a rehab during that time too, in a mental institution. A lot of things that aren't good for relationships,
Right.
per se. So I'd say like around when I was 15, 16, I did want to date the proper way, but a lot of times it was just hookups.
Yeah.
But I did have a couple girlfriends that were for another girl I dated for a year. So yeah, like 6 months maybe. But I mean, in high school terms, that's like 5 years. So it felt like forever.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into some main course questions.
Did you ever have a girl that was more wild than you?
Yes.
Was that a turn on or a turn off?
It was a turnoff. She was very... she ended up in Playboy, but not like you. She was in one of the... She was in like one of the like teen whore sections.
I've always wondered what that side of Playboy is like.
Oh, it's people who do cocaine like we did. Yeah, she was insane. Like she would drive recklessly.
Yeah.
She was beautiful. But
That's the fun side of Playboy.
yeah, it must be because
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mine was just work.
That's what it seems like. Yours is classy.
Yeah.
And she was
Fun.
Like, yeah. Like I remember even when I told everybody, I'm like, hey, I just hooked up with this girl, and like 20 people were like, yeah, so have we.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, cool. I thought this was an accomplishment. She looked like the blonde sister that OD'd on the 70s show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like almost identical.
Fun.
Yeah, it was. She was. She was a good. I think she's still alive. It's really 50-50 with a lot of people I knew.
What is the best place to take a girl on a first date if you're serious about a girl?
I would probably take a girl to either like a high-end restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you're not that serious about a girl?
Coney Island in Detroit, like a place where you get hot dogs and shit.
Do you like doing activities for dates?
What do you mean?
Like putt-putt or laser tag?
I'll suffer through it. I mean, like putt-putt's fun. Or we would go golfing. Some girls I liked that golfed. That was cool. And then, see, the hobby was always, like when I was dating, was always the drugs and the party.
Yeah.
So it was rarely
Getting
like...
fucked up.
Yeah, it was really like, let's go putt-putt. It was like, let's take a double stack Pikachu and go to a rave in an abandoned warehouse. It was a different thing, you know? But yeah, we would go to movies because I loved movies. And
Yeah.
a lot of girls would want to go too. So we would I'd let her pick it out as I'll watch anything, and then I'd take her to a movie.
Yeah. I feel like movie theaters are where I would get down when I was younger. That's like where I would give a hand job.
Yeah, like you could get jacked off during The Grinch. I don't know why I threw that out there. It's just maybe something that happens.
Odd movie of choice.
Well, if you go to the Late Show, there's not kids there.
Yeah, that's true. But that was all. I got my first kiss at a movie theater,
Me too.
and he chipped my tooth.
That did not happen with him.
Mine's him.
No, I'm kidding. They
Mine sucked.
never caught the guy.
This guy, I was a cheerleader in high school. I went
Right.
to a private school for like 1 year, and I was a
Okay.
cheerleader there. And I had never been kissed, and all the girls were like, "Oh my God, you never got kissed before. We can hook you up with the quarterback of the football team." And it was like the junior football
Okay.
team because I was like 16.
Okay.
And
So it's still statutory.
I still remember his name.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
His name was Fuck You, dude.
Was he hyphenated?
No, but he was weird.
Okay.
If I would have seen him today, I would have been like, mm-mm. But back then, I was like, whatever. You care about the fact that he was like the quarterback. So I was like, I guess this is a status symbol. Like, I'm a cheerleader. You're a quarterback. This makes sense. This is a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah, you're an insecure cheerleader. He's a
Yeah, he's a douchebag.
Yeah, so it's perfect for you.
Yeah. And my mom dropped me off at AMC 30 in Mesquite, Texas.
Okay.
And we go into this theater, and I didn't even really know this guy. This was like the first time I'd ever been on a date, but we both knew that we were going to kiss. That was like the only thing we knew. Mm-hmm. So we get in there, and when we sit down in our chairs, he tells me how he's going to kiss me.
That's creepy.
So he was like, hey, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to look at you. You're going to look at me. You're going to open your mouth about this much, and I'm going to slip my tongue in there. I'm going to twirl it around like a tornado, and then I'm going to pull it out. and then
What a piece of shit. Who would do this?
and then you can close your mouth, and then we're done.
Like, did he watch American Pie and was just like, I'll just tell her what I saw and we'll do that? And did you do that?
I mean, he gave me play for play. I
He
was like,
instructed you like a cult leader.
Yeah, like the football player that he was. He was like, this is play by play, exactly how we're going to do this.
This is how we're going to get to the end zone.
Yeah. So I said, okay. And he was like, okay, 3, 2, 1. And I turned and I looked at him and I just went,
Oh, God.
and he came at me so fast that he like whips his head around as fast as he possibly could. And he hit me in the mouth with his teeth and he chipped my tooth.
Oh, God.
And I was like,
Oh, is it
my
still
gosh.
chipped? Oh, obviously.
So I
no?
run out. No, I got it like fixed.
It's good when it was that bad it needed repairing.
I didn't go to school for like a week.
So he just assaulted you with his face.
Yeah, and I call my mom and I'm crying from like the payphone at the theater. I'm like, you have to come get me. I chipped my tooth.
Yeah.
So she takes me to the dentist and they like glue like a part of a tooth. I don't know. They like did whatever they had to do.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
They like give you a fake part of a tooth.
Yes.
And so I get this fake part of my tooth put back in, and I was so embarrassed to go back to school that I didn't go for a week. Well, that was a bad decision because during that week, he had told everybody at school that I was a bad kisser.
What?
I know.
Well, it's to cover his ass for
But I wasn't
actually
there to
hurting you.
defend myself. So then when I go to school, everyone's looking at me like I'm a fucking loser because I don't know how to kiss. And I'm like, that piece of shit just chipped my tooth and told me how. This whole thing is misconstrued.
Yeah. Well, he couldn't even accomplish the play that he set out to do.
Yeah. Terrible football player.
I bet. Terrible kisser.
The horrible.
Even worse kisser, I'm guessing.
I don't even know what happened to that guy, but that was my first kiss.
He shows people pictures of you and tells people that he dated you. I guarantee it. Yeah.
And people don't even know. And I bet he still tells people that I'm a bad kisser.
Yeah, he's like, it'd be weird to do it as an adult. He'd be like, I chipped her tooth, she's so bad. And they'd be like, I'm sorry, did you hit her?
With his face. Right. Just came right at me like a Mack truck.
Do you remember the movie?
No.
Okay, just was curious.
I don't. I wish that I didn't remember the whole event.
Yeah, I would imagine you'd want that wiped from your memory.
Yeah, that would have been a good time for me to start drinking.
Yeah, it would have. It's good you didn't. When did you start?
I think the first time I got really drunk was actually with Playboy. We were flying first class to Argentina and we got so drunk. They put us in first class and it was free alcohol.
Yeah.
And we got so wasted that they told us that when we landed, they were going to call the cops.
In Argentina.
Yeah. They were like, y'all are cut off. Y'all cannot drink anymore. Because everyone's trying to sleep. And we were all just like partying.
And Hugh couldn't sleep through all of it?
We wasn't there.
I know, I figured.
But yeah, we got in trouble. And so I was like, what are you going to do? Kick us off the airplane?
Right. They're like, kinda.
I was like not helpful. But
So
that
how
was
old were you? Like 20?
21.
So you were like legally able to drink when
I
you...
was just legal when I joined with Playboy.
Wow.
And I got really hammered. And then they took us on wine tours and all this stuff. And I was like not that familiar with alcohol.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess my intro to Playboy, I got pretty fucking hammered.
That's quite a leap. To go from like, I've really never been kissed, I'm kind of dating the jocks, to like
That was
Playboy and
16.
booze in one day.
Well, I was from 16 to 21. And you have to remember that I was like naked every day in the snow. So alcohol was like really warming us up.
Yeah, that's got to be brutal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were like, take a shot of tequila. And you know,
Yeah.
tequila makes your clothes come off.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
I've
just
heard.
liquid courage.
Yeah, tequila was definitely one that I didn't drink a lot of for a lot of reasons. That would be the ones where you'd
What
regret.
was your drink of choice?
Anything,
That's what you
honestly.
said earlier. I was wondering if you had a more specific.
Anything. It sounds strange, but it's like I don't know, Natty Ice. You know what I mean? Like just garbage. Like
Did you ever
whatever.
have Mad Dog 2020?
Hell yeah, I had Mad Dog 2020. Many times. Talk about a wine tour. Just go to the just drinking ghetto fuel. I drank that stuff all the time at Boone's Farm.
Yeah.
We drank a lot of 40s. That was big because we all wanted to be like thugs.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of gangster.
Yeah, so I'd
In
have
the
like,
in the brown bags.
we wouldn't really keep the brown bag on sometimes, like, but we'd have like the St. Ides 40 and drink that, and then we'd
Okay.
have. I remember one time I don't know how long they had these things for, but it was 64-ounce Old English, and they had a handle on them, so it almost looked like a jug.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we drink
It was like a
that.
finger handle.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just enough to look even stupider. And then you'd be sitting there sipping on OE, just disgusting malt liquor. And that's what I would drink constantly because you could get a 40 for like $1.50.
Oh yeah.
They're like $2.
Wow.
It was a delight.
Yeah,
And-
that's pretty easy.
And then later, like 30 packs came out, and I was like, whatever they got. 'Cause
Damn.
You get 6 extra beers.
What is the longest relationship you had in this time?
1 year, but I would go back and forth to some girls too, where we'd meet up again.
Yeah.
But 1 year was probably my longest relationship, and then I think two.
When you would go back, did anything ever like change?
No. Nope.
Just the same.
Yeah, it was always, I had no ability to learn a lesson for a good portion of my life, but I was never like mean or anything. Like it wasn't like they didn't want to be with me. I was just kind of a disaster, and like my exes will still go to my shows and stuff. But
Oh, really?
Yeah, like some won't talk to me. Like if they broke up with me, we're fine. If I broke up with them, we haven't talked in years.
Okay.
So that's
Were you good at breaking up with people?
no.
Why were you not a good person? Why was it hard for you?
I never wanted to hurt anybody. But I never was doing it. It's weird to say, but I was never doing it though to hurt, because I was trying to be selfish. I just really didn't want them to keep dealing with me.
So were you the kind of guy that would like you would be bad to push them to the edge so that they would break up with you?
No, not really. Like I wouldn't gaslight them or anything. I would just be myself. And the chips would fall.
They would just leave.
Yes, eventually they would just leave.
Did any of them really break your heart?
Yes,
Oh.
very much so.
Did you ever and that's why you would try to revisit them, like go back?
One, I never could, but I loved her very much.
Oh.
And the other one, one that I truly cared about passed, unfortunately. And then one, we were dating, but then I broke up with her. And right after that, I met my wife. So then it was just like,
Yeah.
done after that. But I kind of grew up pretty quickly after that. I kind of gotten so much stuff out of the way. And I mean, I still messed up, obviously, later in life. But yeah, I sort of, I don't know. I just kind of changed like overnight where I said like, okay, I just want to go towards comedy and do something that I've always wanted to do and be successful. And I just kind of switched gears.
Did you use comedy as like a way of therapy?
Yes.
Laugh to keep from crying?
Kind of, yeah. Still do, you know. I think that's part of the, like a lot of the things that were happening in my life were more difficult and like that I'm just putting out there. Like I had a serious issue.
Yeah.
And then my dad had gotten cancer and he ended up dying from it. So like, and he was paying out of pocket for surgery. It was this whole issue with like the VA and Agent Orange and stuff in Vietnam. So I was being watched by like relatives for a lot of this. So I'd have like my grandma over and I'd just like steal her Vicodin and like her morphine patches. And then I worked at a pharmacy and this was during like the Oxy boom.
Oh no.
Yeah. So like you'd go to take out a trash can, you know, like I got to run to the dumpster and then you just fill your cellophane up with like Valiums and Percocets.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they weren't really keeping track of it. Like, I mean, now they do. It's nuts. But I mean, this is the late 90s, so you could just get enough to sell and also keep some for yourself.
You really hit this the right time though.
Oh, yeah. I got into drugs right at the right time without camera phones, and people were, this was before the Oxy and everything swept the nation.
Yeah.
So it was like right on the cusp of, it was like a good time for designer drugs. like it's like when the movie Go came out. It's like they were making movies about drugs. Like it was popular. It was,
yeah.
I want to say it was chic. I never felt very chic.
Yeah. You were a bad boy. You were like more toxic.
Yeah.
That's not very chic.
It's not. No, I would smoke 3 packs a day. I was just
Ew.
I know. It's why I'm 5'6". I can't tell you how much I appreciate how I treated my body during the growing phases of my life.
Yeah.
Because now I get to look at this and a twin brother that's taller than me.
How tall is he?
He's probably about 4 inches taller than me, like 5'10".
So you really think that everything stunted your growth?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Like, it's strange. People say that's not true, but my shoes are a size 11.
Oh my God.
Right. It's absurd.
Yeah, you got boats
Yeah.
for feet.
Right. I trip over my feet as a grown man. Like, it didn't all grow right, but when you're taking so much LSD and all this other stuff that in the 90s is probably made in a bathtub in a crack house, you know, it's like, you can't, like, there's no way what I was putting into my body was good for anything. It's not like it was vitamins. It's just like whatever poison I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
And occasionally you just smoke crack by accident because they put it in the weed.
Oh.
You'd know because you felt really good for a second.
Yeah.
Then
I can't
Coke.
say that ever happened to me.
That's good. It's good you haven't smoked crack. You have a bun in the oven.
Yeah, I do. That would be terrible.
Yes.
I've smoked a lot of things, but never crack.
Weed, obviously.
Weed.
You're a Texan, right?
I've had a cigarette or two,
Oh, you've had to have.
but I don't like them. They
That's
would make
smart.
me nauseous. Cigarettes make me nauseous. Like they almost make me feel high. And if I'm drinking and I have a cigarette, I'll get so wheezy, I'll just turn sideways.
That's kind of what the benefit of nicotine is that like kind of bump it gives you.
Is that the lure?
Yeah, it's like, well, it is at first. I mean, eventually it just becomes this crippling addiction that, you know, I haven't had a cigarette since 2012, but I smoked for 15 years.
Well, it's like a totally different person in a matter of seconds, though. Like, I don't know if that's even normal, but like my friends would be like, "Are you okay?" Like, because I would go from
With
like
cigarettes?
yeah, from like a fun like giggly drunk, I would smoke a cigarette and be wasted.
So you had a nicotine buzz that just kind of upped your buzz so badly that they would
That I
noticed
was,
it was a problem?
yeah, that I was like not okay. I couldn't even walk hardly. Like if I have it's wild what a cigarette would do to me. So I like can't smoke cigarettes, not only because I'm pregnant, but because what they do to me is like it just throws my whole equilibrium off.
Yeah, stay away from it then. Yeah, that's not for you at all.
It's not for me.
No, nicotine is very bad for your system then. That's not, I've never heard of this in my life.
I mean, no one. I've never met anyone that does that to.
No, this is a
It's
first.
weird. I might be allergic to it or something.
You could have an allergy to nicotine, and that's why you were getting violently ill when you smoked it.
Literally. Because people can smoke a cigarette and have some casual fun. That was not, if I had a cigarette, goodbye. I'm sick. I'm throwing up. We're done.
Yeah, you're allergic to it.
Yeah.
I think we've diagnosed you today. Don't do that. Well, it's good that nobody does it anymore. I mean, did your parents smoke?
My dad did.
Yeah, but
he was also in Vietnam, and he also had cancer, and he also died.
There
Not
you
that
go.
I want to relate to you on all of that, but
I'm glad we could.
with you.
But I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just handled it better.
Well, I wasn't, my dad smoked.
Yeah,
I would have a smoke
right.
and then realize that I don't remember how I got home.
Yeah, that's never happened to anyone else in the history of tobacco. This is entirely please, stay away from
I
it.
will.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
Don't worry.
I figured you had a family member that smoked, just being a Texan, and you're right at the cusp of that age where everything changed.
Yeah.
You knew the old world and now you know the new world. So you remember when everybody smoked cigarettes?
Yeah.
In your house, there'd be a Bible next to a giant ashtray in a room you couldn't sit in. Do you remember those giant ashtrays that you could kill a panda with it? This big marble, that's what my family did. And my mom was an RN.
So was mine.
Well, there you go.
My mom was a RN in a hospital for many, many years.
Yeah.
40.
Yeah, that's pretty much what my mom did.
What did your dad do?
I'd say the stuff he was most proud of. I mean, he did a lot of things for some different corporations, but he was a high school basketball coach.
Okay.
He started the Babe Ruth Little League coach. There's a Tom Landau field in the Detroit area. And he did a lot. So I'd say the number one thing that he'd probably most want to be known for was all the sports stuff he did for kids in the area.
Well, nurses were really attracted to these Vietnam vets.
Yeah, they were. Because
Seems-
they needed someone to care for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was very smart. He had several degrees. He was a great football player, but he grew up in kind of a foster home. His parents left, or his dad left the day he was born. He was a twin too. He had a twin sister, and I guess his dad, a fine Irishman whose real last name was, I think, Donnellan, walked in and said, "Oh God, you had two of them," and then just left. So then my grandmother was an alcoholic, and this guy named Landau, who lived down the street and had a foster program, raised my dad. So he took the name on at 18 to kind of honor him.
Oh.
So I'm Irish Italian, but my last name is it's Jewish or German, depending on what side.
Wild.
Yeah. So he was most known, and then this George Perlis, who ended up coaching at Michigan State, was trying to put together a team in Detroit. And he found my dad, and my dad ended up being this insanely good athlete. And I have a picture in my son's room of my dad leveling three guys that was from the cover of a Detroit News. And he was my size. He's a little bigger than me, but he was a really good athlete.
That's so cool.
So yeah, he tried to do that for us, and my brother, it was great. For me, there's just videos of me in right field when I'm a kid, and I'm just doing this for no reason, not even paying attention. And there's ball that'll just fly over my head, and you just see the other team scoring home runs. I don't even notice, and my dad's just holding a camera, and you can just hear him being like, "God damn it." So yeah, I didn't follow in that footstep, but he worked for a few different businesses, and then he ran athletics, then coached high school basketball as well.
Cool. Well, for my dessert question, what is some advice that you would give someone, like a friend of yours who's in a bad place, either in a relationship or life? What is some good advice that you would give someone to help them feel better?
Everything is up and down in life. You're going to hit your bottoms and you're going to hit your tops. And I mean, the reality is if you don't learn to live with it, you're just going to learn to hate life and grow bitter. And it's like, even if you're at the worst part, that means things can really only go up, especially if it's of your choosing.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to make the choice to get out of your own head. No one else can really make you cheer up or make you better or make you sober or make you think, it's like you really have to just work at it. And it's like, it sucks because there's plenty of days where everybody doesn't want to get up. There's plenty of days where you have depression so bad, like you'd rather just sit there and I don't. I do the same thing. I just get up. And it's like, just to tell them that it's like, you're loved and look at the qualities. Like the hardest thing that I shouldn't say the hardest, but the best thing I ever learned was gratitude. And I mean, really learn it. You can say you have it, but then when you actually feel it, like when you have that child or when you have that thing, something there that loves you, you have this gratitude that you never knew existed, and your life can be very, very beautiful if you allow it to be.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's so sensitive. That's a really sensitive thing to say.
Well, thank you.
You have a hard outer shell sometimes, and it's like, that's a very nice, vulnerable thing to say. Thank you.
True. Yeah, it's the truth.
This was such a fun episode. Where can people find you?
They can go to davelandau.com. I have a show on Blaze TV and YouTube, really. It's called Normal World. It's just sketches and stuff like that. And just touring, davelandau.com. Check out upcoming shows.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Same. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time.
First date, baby.
Are you really drinking a glass of milk with dinner?
First date, I can't wait.
You told your mom about me?
Just say you're ready.
Delete my number.